to the Imaginary Gallery. Once again, it's TJ, your host, and this is more narcissist trash talk. This information is kind of like a summary or overview of the covert narcissist experience, which may help you put things into perspective if you've had the unfortunate experience of dealing with such a creature. But what I kind of picture these people as, I see them kind of like a genie, the genie in the lamp. But it's an evil genie disguised as a nice genie. This genie comes into your life usually, and if you are like some of us, you've already been through the whole experience with a demon, reptilian, shapeshifter, whatever it was. So you're skeptical the next time someone else comes along who seems interested. Well, enter the evil genie, who appears to be the perfect genie. However, in this case, the genie doesn't ask you for 3 wishes. The genie simply showers you with wishes you didn't even know you had. When they do their love bombing and they do their idealization, which really makes it easy for even the most skeptical person or sensitive person to kind of loosen up, because it's like day after day you're given the royal treatment, and you may be suspicious, you may test it here or there, and with these monsters, typically they continue the flow of the positive energy, or so it seems. This genie is granting you wish after wish, and you are probably feeling a little guilty, if you have empathy, by thinking, wow, I don't do all this for this person, and what did I do to deserve? And you may even try to counter it by saying, well, I can't accept all this from you. What should I do for you? And they'll always say, oh, you don't have to do anything. And it's all part of the beginning, because remember, these people operate in stages. You're in the beginning stage. And like we say, it's a game you're not aware of at the time. And even if you say, is this a game? You'll be told, no. So, but what goes on is you are with this person, and encounter after encounter, it just seems like this person is 100% on your side. Well, that makes it easy for you to then in turn open up the gates, open up the information about yourself and your past. And if you're a little shy, you may even be telling why you're shy, and you may even explain some of the things that have happened before. This person's going to act like no matter what you say, it's perfect. Even if you tell things that aren't flattering about yourself, which is typical of real people, because we don't want to put on a fake mask to say, hey, I'm perfect. Instead, we'll be telling what isn't perfect. And of course, this person will usually just, no matter what it is, still want to see you again, because they have a completely different game plan, different agenda. And you, poor you, are thinking you've just met another person you happen to have something in common with, who happens to like you, and you're trying to get used to that idea, thinking, well, I can see how this will go. But you end up opening up, and you end up revealing things about yourself, such as insecurities. Like if you say, I don't like to get involved with anybody, because I was with somebody who did this, this, and this, and oh, it was just horrible. Well, you'll be pulled further into this illusion when they do the mirroring thing, and they'll be like, oh, really, you had that done? So have I. Which is very common. They'll claim to have gone through the very same thing, and I've mentioned before that it's kind of funny if that's true. Why are they so eager and quick to rush things on with you, a nearly stranger, if they've been through all this before. You'd think they would have learned to be cautious, but that's a sign you're dealing with one of these creatures. And what they are is they're a predator. Yes, they're a predator that preys upon its own species. Unlike in the woods where there's a tiger out there and it sees a little bird it wants to eat. Well, this would be a tiger going after another tiger, but pretending to be a friendly tiger and then destroying the other tiger. But when you are opening up to these types of creatures, they are collecting data. They're listening to every little thing you say. So if you maybe 3 times mention a certain thing, like, oh, that person was terrible because it did this, well, this predator is going to record that and give it like a mark of urgency, like, oh, this is a good one. And these are all being stored for later use. Because whether these creatures are conscious of it or not, they tend to go through the same things over and over. And of course you won't ever hear this when you ask them, so who did you date before and how, what? They're not going to tell you that, well, I tried this scam on that one and it backfired after the first week. I lied. They won't say any of this. It'll just be some generic type, oh, it just didn't work, or oh, it lied, or something. And so you can't really know for sure when you question. They're keeping all of the information you're giving in their little brain that's ranking which things are like more severe versus less severe, but they will continue to be this genie who also notices everything around you, picks up on hints you may give when you're not even intending to give a hint. You just may mention something like, oh, I need to wash this car, it's just so dirty. They'd be the ones to come to your door one morning and say, I've got a surprise for you. Take a look at your car. I had it clean and detailed. And these types of things make it very easy for you to open up even more and tell even more, because you think, this person's on my side. Well, I can tell this person this secret. They're storing this information. The reason I call it an evil genie is that even though you didn't make any wishes, it picked up on things that it thinks you needed and took care of them. But at the same time, if you spend more and more time with a person, you may bring up things from sore events in the past, such as in my own example. I had been involved with a creature before that I couldn't stand it when I would call. There was no texting back then, but I would call, there'd be no answer, and it would just go to voicemail, and I wouldn't hear anything for hours, and I just didn't like that. So when I was with the person like full-time living together, I'd said something like, look, if you're busy, I understand you might be busy. One thing I can't stand is not answering the phone and then not responding. So I would say, if I call you and you're busy, well, just say, hey, I'm busy, I'll talk to you a little bit later or something. But do not just ignore the call for hours, because I don't like it. Well, of course, the first several years, phone was always answered, but that was being stored for later use. Fast forward when a few years passed and all of a sudden we learn this creature is not the nice person it pretended to be. Well, that is when I'd call, no answer, no response. And it's like it was saving it for the right moment. It deliberately did the opposite, so I'd be lured in further and further to the predator's lair, and then later switched and pulled it because it knew exactly what would get to me. Sick. Of course, when you are involved with such a person, you normally won't know that you are. And any efforts you may make to try to uncover if you are going to be debunked, even though it's fake. Sometimes we just feel like, well, I'm being too critical. I should just sit back and enjoy this, and then tell more and you're basically giving this person the keys to destroy you. You're telling them your fears. You're telling them what really hurt you in the past, and that is giving ammunition for the creature to use, because it always ends with these people. It doesn't last. There is no forever with the covert narcissist. It just doesn't exist, which is kind of funny when you think back to the times when you heard claims of, I want to be with you forever, and you think to yourself later, like, how many other people have you promised forever to? There is no forever with them. I don't know if these people ever really think that their schemes will work or be successful to give them this forever relationship they claim to want. Because on one hand, you would think they'd have common sense and realize that the way they go about things with their fraudulent behavior and fake mirroring and all that, you'd think they would know that they're a fraud deep down underneath and would know that nothing will ever last. But then at the same time, these people are experts in deception, and I think that deception also includes deceiving themselves. Plus, the fact they have no accountability means that it could be, let's say, a guy who's been married 10 times and each one ended in divorce, and now he's telling you, oh, you're the one I need to be with. And you can't help but thinking, didn't you say that to the last 10? And they'll be, oh, well, they lied, or oh, they cheated, or oh, they did this, and they don't take responsibility. So same thing may go here, where they just think they've got to find the right person, yet they don't seem to accept the fact that anything that goes wrong could ever be their fault. It's always the fault of someone else. So in that case, maybe they do think that something is going to work for them forever, but they just haven't found it yet, even though they've gone through 100 or 300 or more. Something to think about or wonder, but we give them the keys to destroy us with, not knowing it, because we're thrown off by all this friendliness, and then later it comes back to haunt us. And it's like a horror film, where a nice characters come in to help you in your life, even though you didn't ask for it, and then you become accustomed to this help and begin to rely upon it, and then later it switches completely, and all of a sudden all of the things that hurt you are appearing, are happening, and you think about that and all the love talk at the beginning and then the reality of the later behaviors, and think, this person knew exactly what it was doing, and it's really hard to take. It's very difficult, especially if you've been mirrored effectively, to believe this person has similar values and beliefs to you, to then have to switch and think, that's not really the values that this person has, because this wouldn't have happened if they were, and it's just shocking. This is just a brief short video, just as an overview, but they're an evil genie. And if you were involved with one, it's common to want to try to fix it, to try to get things back to that first phase, but you have to accept the fact that first phase was fake. It was a trick to pull you in. If it's gone, be glad. Otherwise, good luck.
Fine, let's just get this over with. The fact is, I was jealous of you because you were a real person, something of which I've never been. And quite frankly, whenever you became upset about something that I did, when I heard you articulate in obviously original words directly related to our personal situation, it just threw me over the edge, because, in case you didn't know, I can't do that. I'm not in touch with my own emotions or feelings. All I can do is, if I'm upset about something that happened, is quote someone else I heard and hope it works. to get what I want, but I'm kind of blind when it comes to being a human, and I just couldn't let you know that, but that's the way it is. So whenever you would become genuinely upset about something I'd initiated, well, first off, I knew exactly what you were complaining about because I wouldn't have hidden it if I thought it was good, but I couldn't let you know this. So that's why I gave you those stupid arguments and turned the conversation around because, quite frankly, I can't admit that you're right. And it made me so irritated, it seemed like you wanted me to admit that you were right. I became enraged, and I yelled, and I said, "Oh, what's wrong with you? Why do you keep talking about these things? Oh, what about the time you did this? What about the time you..." And oh, I know you got sick of it, but I didn't have anything else to give you. I'm a one-trick pony. Actually, 1,000-trick pony whore, but as far as relationships go, I'm a failure.
I never did mind about the little things.
I never did mind about the little things. I never did mind about the little things.
If you want to see the rest of me, I'm nude in Playboy next month. Look out for it.